Hey, good evening, Bobcat Nation. Welcome back to another edition of the Bobcat Blitz. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick here, coming to you live from the side room here at your Northport People Brady's, the official home of the Bobcat Blitz. We got a little abbreviated edition tonight. A lot of our coaches are out and about working and playing games and coaching, but we do have a special guest tonight. I'm going to have an update for basketball from our very own assistant coach here, Mr. Zach BABUT. In just a moment here, we'll get John in the camera. It's been 2 weeks. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving out there. I hope you all stayed healthy.
Ask if there's good feedback.
And anybody out there watching,
Please give
us a little shout out there if you can hear us. So now we're going I'm talking to a microphone. I don't know why, because the microphone's not on.
That's kind of dead now.
I'm so used to it. So if you can hear it through the camera, let us know.
Please give some feedback.
Give us some feedback on that. Again, it's a bad habit of mine. I'm so used to talking into yelling into a microphone. I can't break. I'm going to put it down because I'm going to do this all night long. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. So Zach, we've had him on before. We had him a couple weeks back for our boys basketball preview session. And before we started, I did want to say something about our scheduling here. There we go.
Keep going.
During Thanksgiving, we had several of the girls and boys games. And back on the 21st was the boys basketball debut here at the Cage. It took on, imagine, a much more improved team than what I was figuring it was going to be. And they put up a good fight there. It was 36-40 at halftime. I believe we were trailing that game, 36-40. And something switched and Elijah decided to have a 39-point game that night. I'm still trying to see if that's a record for it. So, Coach, what'd you do at halftime to get him going?
I think it was more about just slowing down, playing our game. They kind of sped us up. That's kind of what Imagine likes to do. So, we told our guys at halftime, just slow down, trust our, press offense. And, we actually got to the basket a little bit more in the second half. So that kind of worked out for us. But, Eli is a very, very special player. He broke, actually, it wasn't a record. He broke the record last year. Against Imagine, 43 points. I don't know.
I'm talking about the home debut. I don't think that's ever happened.
Oh, yeah, so it probably was the most points for a home game.
We've had some heck of good players.
Actually, I think Ronald Boyle has the home. I think that's where he broke. He had 40 points at home a couple years ago. So shout out to Brian for that, by the way. But, yeah, Eli's a special player, but I think all around, it was the most energy we've seen from our guys. It's promising to start the year. We're 4-0, still got a lot to work on. We got a big win right after Thanksgiving against a great Mariner team.
So let's talk about it for a minute. So guys, you'll know a lot of times during the holidays, if you're new to high school basketball, there's a lot of tournaments during Thanksgiving. They call them shootouts or jamborees and all that. So you guys went to the Baron Collier, which is down in Charlotte County, Naples area, right? Naples. So what time of the day did you have that game?
It was 4:30, so we're kind of waiting around all day. Me and Coach were a little concerned that it was that late in the day. We had a little shoot around in the morning, and it's about an hour, 15-minute drive, so a little bit of a drive. The games were running early, so we got there, got dressed, got ready to play. And that's another game, down 4 at a half.
Okay.
Showed a little bit of resiliency there. That Mariner is ranked. The poll just came out today for the Naples Sports, second in Collier County. So
gotcha.
It was a big win for us, so we're kind of riding off that. Last night was a little.
Well, it was. All right, so I'll call it. So last night we took on Booker. And for those of you who are not familiar with this area, if you're new to Central Canada, when I went to high school back in the 80s, Booker, which is in deep part of Sarasota, they had a very good reputation in all their sports. It was a small school.
Right.
But you didn't want to play them a lot of times because they're that good. Now, they dipped quite a bit these last couple of decades, but I've noticed these last couple of years, they're starting to come back up again.
Yeah.
And I was nervous about this Booker game coming off of Mariner because I knew how good Mariner was. I'm like, oh God, you cannot have a letdown game any year against Booker.
And me and Bruce talked after the game. He told me I was nervous all day for that game. And, it's a true statement. You're riding high off a win against a great team, and you're at home. Don't want to get let down. Me and Coach, we call them trap games.
Oh, exactly. That's a good word for it.
Games where you should win, but you cannot play your potential.
And even more confusing because they were 0-0. I don't think they had a real game.
It's crazy. Even thinking about. We played 4 games already, and that was Booker's first. And a lot of other schools are playing. Port Charlotte's playing their first game tonight. On the Bay's playing their first game tonight. So
Was this like a secret thing on their part that they conspired so you wouldn't have scouting on who's playing? No, I'm kidding. No. So then you're going to follow this up tomorrow night. Like your schedule just isn't getting any easier.
No.
You're going down to Charlotte, which is always a perennial power in this area. I'd say the last decade or so, they're always up there.
yeah, I mean, Charlotte's probably the most talented team in the area. So it'll be a good test for us early on to see, where we're at. So, we're just going to play our game. And the biggest thing I tell the guys is just play hard. That's it. And the rest work out of stuff, win or loss.
And then all right, John is back.
Hey,
So
how
we
you
had no
doing?
technical issues here. So
Absolutely. We're trying to figure out the sound, and if anybody's out there listening, please give a quick comment back if the sound is good for you guys on the air.
And then
Because I am focused on that. I've been listening in the back, and it sounded pretty good on Facebook, but I just want to make sure.
and I'm going to keep harping on the schedule because you guys don't go home for a while. Then you got a boys basketball game at Port Charlotte on a Tuesday. You don't come back home until Wednesday the 13th, taking on Lemon Bay. So you're gone for a while. So if you missed yesterday's game, we're dipping into Christmas break by the time final exam time too. So
Early on, we stacked quite a few games up, knowing that we would have a 6-day break coming up. So we're going to use that to put in some more stuff, but we just wanted to see early on where we're at. So we scheduled some easy games, some tough games. So, sitting 4-0 is good right now.
I'm looking here, Coach. You got Bradenton Christian, which is always, they have their own tournament. That's how good they are.
Yeah, that's a talented team.
That's gonna be home on that's a Friday night, the 15th. So that's before the kids might even have the 15th off.
Yeah, I think that's the first day off.
Oh, we gotta get the crowd in for that one. That's a tough game right there. You don't have any easy wins on here at all, sir. I'm sorry. DeSoto might have been about the only one. And I hate to say that publicly, but we'll be honest. They're in the down. They got a down program right now, and they'll be the first to admit that. But you got difficult, and difficult. So I'm like, where are your? Okay, so yeah, John's here. I apologize. It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks, my friend. Good seeing you.
Absolutely. Nice being here. And quick question for you, Coach. The way the schedule's set up and the way that the team is looking right now, how are you feeling as you enter into the season?
I think one thing I preach to our guys is consistency, and I think me and Coach talk about this all the time. We're good enough on a good night to beat probably any team in the area, but there's also nights where, for example, last night, we didn't play very well and we could lose. But, I think a big step for us last night was just finding a way to win.
That's important for a lot of teams. The LeBron James of the world having to go to Miami to learn how to win a championship, and kind of feels negative about that vibe now. But the reality is sometimes you need to change up to get into the reality of coming back and doing your thing. Go ahead.
A big thing is last year, I think last year we played that game, we played like that, we would have lost.
Yeah.
So, my bad. We have 7 seniors, so I think seeing that growth from this year.
Something to be said about that,
Yeah.
isn't there?
So I think that is at least promising, the growth that we're seeing from our guys from last year to this year. And that's one thing me and Coach talked about in the offseason is we have to learn how to close out games, win games, because there was probably 4 or 5 games last year that we just lost, but we should have won, just not knowing how to close out games.
Well, and there is something to be said about that, and having that ability early in the season and realizing that early in the season versus working your way into it most of the way through the year. Does that change the mindset about the growth potential of this team?
Yeah, I think right now, the biggest thing growth-wise for us is just continuing to get better every day at practice, coming in ready to work, staying focused, not getting caught up in beating good teams. Just like me and Coach told the guys last night, we call it stacking W's, and it's not just wins, but little wins, like taking charges, making winning plays.
Yep. It's the little things that make a complete game, right?
Yeah, and against Mariner, the first quarter, we didn't play very well, and I'm sitting there. I looked over at Coach Teddy, who some of you may know, like, this ain't gonna be good. And then we grouped at halftime, came out, and we played the way I know we can play. It's a matter of consistency was what we keep preaching to the guys.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so last night, same thing. First quarter, we're down by a point. Second quarter, got about a 5-point lead, I believe. So, and I do quarter scores as well. So it's been nice. I keep seeing the pluses. It's not going up and down. It's a nice halftime adjustment, consistent. And what I want to mention is last night I forgot number 2's name. Was it Brendan?
Yeah,
Eagle?
Brendan Eagle.
So it wasn't just Eli. And it's nice to see games where other players you can count on someone else stepping up to take the load off him because he's going to be marked. He's going to be marked every game now, Eli.
Yeah.
So it's great to see. And he's a transfer, wasn't he?
Yeah. So Brendan transferred over from Port Charlotte. He went to Charlotte, moved to Port Charlotte, and then he came to us. And you know, he's a great kid, great player. And like last night, you know, before the game, we weren't sure if Jackson Kicker was going to play. You know, he had a banged up his knee on Saturday, so I met him at the school 4:30, kind of like gave him a little workout, see if he could play. Said he was good enough to play. Didn't have the best game, but you know, I respect him going out there and playing for his teammates. And I think that's what it really comes down to at the end of the day. You know,
Right.
Even when you are banged up a little bit, sacrificing it for your teammates.
Good. And then not only did he score 21 points, unofficially I got mine 21 points. He had a couple of really good defensive plays. He knew we had a couple 3-pointers right when we really needed the bat. So the timing, his game has gotten a lot, I think, better. I'm glad to see that stepping up in him.
And I think for him, as the season goes on and he gets more comfortable, you know, he came like right at the end of the summer so he actually got to come with us over to Embry-Riddle where we stayed for a week. So that was kind of like his first little stint with us.
Right.
And like, even from that, it's just been on an upward trend. So he's going to get better and better as the season goes on.
I also can tell these last couple games, the defense, when you need, I know there's times there's not, but when you need it, they've really stepped up the defensive. You've been worked out quite a bit in the summer, I'm assuming, on that.
Yeah, and you know, I told Coach for the season, you know, Coach is a great defensive coach. I mean, offensive coach, and you know, I consider myself a great defensive coach. So I've been kind of preaching him. So we've been telling the kids, you know, we want kill quarters, and a kill quarter is when you keep a team under 10 points for a quarter. I think last night they were under.
I think all of them.
Yeah. So, and if Coach actually looked at the statistics, if you keep a team under 9 points or 10 points for one quarter, it's like a 75% chance you win. Anything over like 2 quarters, 3 quarters, it's a 99% chance you win. So that's kind of what we've been preaching to the guys. And, you know, we've been kind of giving Omar the task of their best player, as you saw last night.
And I was going to bring that up next. Omar Branch, he played football for us as well. He was our either safety or corner. I forgot what he played. And he had a pretty hard assignment, and he did a great job last night.
And, you know, I think for him, it's just, you know, being a senior, taking on that role. He did it against Imagine's best player. He did it at Mariner, and then he did it last night. So I think he's doing a great job. You know, me and Coach trying to figure out who's going to be that guy. And we have a couple guys that can do it. If he gets tired, we had Brandon do it for a little bit. Damian Howard, who's going to start doing it. We're kind of easing him into the role. So we're just going to kind of keep going from there. Like, we have a couple guys who we shuffle around, so it's good to have.
Exactly.
So I quick question about the kill quarter, because there's something to be said about playing good offense.
Right.
And a lot of people love to shoot the hoop, right? But when you're talking about good defense, how do you keep them inspired in playing that solid defense and that kill quarter? I think that's a great name.
We need a poster.
Yeah,
we need something.
Yeah, but I feel like setting that mindset early in the process at the camps and so forth. Does that really inspire them to play better and solid defense?
Yeah, and you know, going back to Imagine, you know, we did. I think it's more of an energy thing for our guys. You know, they got to get like we tell them the little plays. I think when someone takes a charge on our team, the energy significantly increases. Someone makes a good play, so it's kind of bringing the energy. You know, I think Omar's done a great job of bringing the energy for us. So I think that's making other guys play better defensively around them. I think we have a extremely talented defensive team. It's a matter of it's all effort, really.
Do you think you have good depth?
You know, depth, I would say, is one of our weaknesses. So we have one freshman on varsity who's playing substantial minutes. So it's kind of a extreme learning curve for him because he's taking a jump from middle school straight to high school. So I mean, I think one of the things we lack right now is depth. But I think we get towards January, February, even when we have the 6-day break, we're going to kind of get these kids up to speed of where they need to be.
And so I want to talk about kill quarters, because if you're lacking in depth, those kill quarters, they have to be very disciplined, because what you don't want is early fouls and fouling players out if you don't have the depth. So how do you get in their minds to teach, yeah, be aggressive on the discipline side, but hey, let's be careful out there at the same time.
Yeah, so we have obviously Eli and Jackson. Those are two players we kind of need on the court. So I think a lot of the kids know what we preach is to play defense with your feet, not with your hands. So one foul, they know, okay, I gotta relax. Two fouls, they know they're in trouble. So and like against Marion, Eli had 3 fouls in the first half. So I think it's more of like a discipline IQ thing. Let alone we could say don't foul, but he can go out there and foul. But he knows when to attempt to block.
You can see the contrast last night. 2 of their players had 4 fouls going into the late third. That's down, so there's not that communication. I even told the coach, I'm like 4. I always give them as courtesy. I let them know there's 4 fouls. They still had good pressure on your end and a lot of charges on our good side.
I think we
that was
took
fantastic.
3-4 charges.
Yeah.
And that a kid that we're trying to work into the rotation, he came in, took a charge. He's only in there for 2 minutes, but stuff like that, little plays that will kind of help you, even when we can't score the basketball. I think the first quarter score was like 9-8.
Yeah, and they were up by 1. So 9-8
for both teams.
So you just said something about 2 minutes. 2 minutes is a long time when you can stack that time for your player to catch his breath, regroup a little bit. Talk about that time frame that replacements are a huge factor in the game because you need that time for your starters.
Yeah, so I think today in modern day basketball, all the kids they're worried about scoring. Oh, if I get I gotta score. And we really preach to our guys. You go in for 30 seconds, 2 minutes. At the end of the day, you're fighting for playing time, so you got to do the little things, going up and grabbing a rebound, taking a charge. I think that will instill trust in your coaches to put you on the court more rather than if you go out there and you just go rogue, start trying to score the basketball. Your coach is like, what are you doing?
Right. Just stay within the game.
Yeah. And I tell the kids all the time, just simplify your game.
Yep.
You don't get out of character just because your mom and dad are in the stands and you want to impress your classmates because at the end of the day you'll probably just mess up and ultimately make yourself look stupid.
Well, there is something to be said with staying within the game plan though, and if you can keep everybody on the team focused on the end result, which is not individual awards, it's actually team wins.
Yeah, and I think most of the kids get that. We have some that we're still trying to push along along that line, but I think for the most part, most kids they just want to win. So I think that's where the growth is from last year. This year, we lost a couple players last year, and it's kind of like strength in numbers. So it kind of worked out for us losing them because I think ultimately it helps our overall teammate chemistry.
Right. So you've got some seniors there, and you've got some youth. I'm not going to talk about next year in a sense, but do you feel good about what you have in the pipeline for next year as you progress? And is there any chance for some of those younger players that may be playing on the JV to be able to move up as they progress?
Yeah, our JV team is actually doing pretty well.
Got to give a shout out.
3-0.
Yeah, I see them both win on the varsity games there. It's awesome. Yeah.
I think I told you before the last radio show, we had 60-something kids try out for JV. So, that's always good to see. And, there were some tough cuts. We had to make some decisions. We're going to take, in some instances, a skilled freshman over a little more polished sophomore. Because, at the end of the day, we, at least for our program, we don't typically allow juniors to play on JV because, at that point, if you're not
Advanced enough
to play varsity by your junior year, then it's kind of like a waste. So, but
you see it every now and then in other schools, but we got enough
time.
But
we had some extremely talented kids, some sophomores, that will have no choice but to play up next year. And I think the learning curve is going to be huge for them.
Well, something important you just said. Now, I kind of want you to highlight this for kids that are looking at playing basketball at Northport. There's a winning desire within the program and a good focus on working with the kids and bringing them through. If you're looking at the young players overall, yeah, we're good. Okay. Thank you. And we're live from Beef O'Brady's in Northport, by the way. You guys come out and join us and support Beef O'Brady's because they're allowing us to do this every Tuesday. And as you can see, staff is even coming in and asking if we needed anything. So they take great care of us here. But we look at the youth a lot of times, and we look at youth programs as our draw in. What is it that you would tell the younger players out there about coming across the street and getting ready to play for the high school?
And I mean, we're in a time where, we have a lot of our kids in Northport, going to Charlotte, going to Venice, going to Port Charlotte. And, I tell people all the time, I think Northport gets a bad rap. And you ask people why, and you just hear some of those things, you're like, what? And, I'll tell people, as long as you're trajected on the right path, involved in the sport, club, anything, I think it all kind of takes care of itself. I remember middle school for me, and, I was dead set on going to Northport. It didn't even cross my mind, I don't think it was big back then,
Right.
When I took it all the time, like, how could you not want to play for your hometown team?
Right.
Like,
And there's something to be said about playing for the hometown team. But when you're across the street and you're looking at the winning program, the winning part of it, and that is huge. The skill set and the players that are coming across the street. I know that we have a good basketball program right at the middle school, and it's got to feel good to have that next level player coming your way, knowing that there's already a program at the middle school.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something to be said. Coach Steiner does a great job over there at Heron Creek, and I forgot the Woodland coach's name. He's newer this year, but me and Coach, we try to go as much as we can. It kind of intercrosses our season, but we try to get over to the middle school games, like stop in, pop in the locker room, talk to the kids any chance we get. And we used to do the game at the high school with
Crosstown showdown.
that's kind of been put on the back burner for a while. So we're trying to bring that back. I think it's good for the kids, middle school, to at least play in the atmosphere once, just to see if something.
And we'll say it again. I said this last time. Anybody out there who has any pull at all to make that happen, Crosstown showdown. I won't say which school it was. I said no last year, but it wasn't both. One of them wanted to really do it, one of them didn't. So if you are a parent who has any pull at all, go onto our Facebook page. We'll try to communicate with you on how we get that going. We're going to miss it this year.
Yeah, for sure.
But next year we really got to bring it back. It was a wonderful tradition. So.
And as far as our obviously we're graduating a lot this year, so I think for me, you could be a talented player and go play for a talented team and kind of be just put on the back burner. There's some schools in the area where there's kids talented enough to play varsity, but their team's so talented that they're stuck on JV.
Sure enough.
So for me, it's more about opportunity. Like, that was a big reason that Brandon Abel decided to come over to Northport. Opportunity. He knew there was opportunity for him to have a big role, make a big impact, and I think there's something to be said about opportunity.
Well, and there's something to be said about going to a program where you're going to sit the bench and win, or coming to a place where you can fit in, win, and play.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on any other team that has that, but
Sure.
For me, I'm just a big opportunity guy, and I want to see all kids succeed, and and most times there is kids who are talented enough that aren't playing. And it's not because they're bad; it's just their program's so talented.
We had one of the girls who went on and got recognized, and we talked about her 2 weeks ago. And if there's an athlete out there that is noteworthy of being seen, they get found now. They don't fall through the cracks. There are systems in play now. And we have that at the school now too.
Yeah. We use a couple different things. We have Field Level. It's an app, where hundreds, millions of coaches, how many colleges out there. You sign your kid up, you evaluate them yourself, and colleges reach out. And Elijah's got a couple looks from some colleges. We have Huddle, and a big thing nowadays, which is sad, is AAU. I think most colleges have kind of pulled away from recruiting high school, so it's kind of like if you don't play AAU, you kind of
you don't get looked at.
Yeah. So, but I want to just shout out Ed Jerry. He does a good job. I coach the AAU program. It's a lot of kids from the area. It's just kids from the area that play We have 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade last year. So, Eli, a bunch of kids from Port Charlotte,
Oh, that's gotta be weird.
Charlotte.
They're on the same AAU team, but they go out on the high.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And,
gotta
it's
sound
always good to
awkward
see, right,
energy.
like, tomorrow we play Charlotte. I've coached 6, 7 of those kids for AAU, so it's always good to see whether win or lose, just kids you coach all playing on the same court together.
But,
So
and they have to learn to play together at some point because, if you're gonna go to the next level, you're gonna have to learn to deal with a lot of crosstown rival teammates at that point.
oh yeah, for sure. And going back on the AAU thing, we've got, I think from the 11th grade team I coached last year, 6 kids of 9 all got to play somewhat in some aspect college basketball next level. So
Right.
I think there's something to be said. I think Florida is such a talented state for basketball overall. I kind of think our area gets put on the little back burner a little bit compared to some other counties. So I think he's doing a great job with that, directing that, kind of getting these kids out there.
Well, you have to have that fire with the youth programs too, across the board. And they're great feeder programs, not just for your school, but others in the area, but the camaraderie that they build too. And they learn to have to really drop their guard a little bit when they're playing with 3 Charlotte players on the same AAU team. It's got to feel good, but it also has to enhance what they do on the court, because anytime you play at the same level or above, there's improvements to your game. So do you see that improvement when the AAU league season ends and those players come back to play here at Northport? Do you see improvement from that?
Yeah, I think you learn about yourself as a player when you're playing with a bunch of talented guys. You kind of got to evolve your game a little bit. You might be scoring 25 points for a high school team, but you play on such a talented AAU team, you're scoring 12 points instead of 20. So
Right.
I think they come back with that better, but more knowledge of the game and how they can impact the game other ways other than scoring.
Right. Fantastic. Any more, Coach?
Well, Coach, we're not gonna tell where you're going to next. We know you're gonna scout out the game,
Yeah.
but we'll keep it quiet there. But I want to talk to you real quick. We had something new these last couple of games. The football team has come out, the coaches, and they're doing our concession stand. They're doing like barbecue pork and things like that. That's the new thing. Is that a partnership that they reached out to you? Or did you guys are you gonna? I think it's great to see you cross the board.
They got in contact with Coach, and I like it.
It's
during
fantastic.
JV, I'll go get myself something to eat, watch JV game, and it's good to see other sports teams coming out. Whether they're watching or not, just getting there and serving our parents' food, the kids' food, and stuff like that. It's all about. At the end of the day, it's all in school. You want to see everyone succeed.
Oh, it's a great thing to see. I've been waiting years for this because right now the parents used to have to flip out and one does JV, one does varsity. So now the parents can actually watch their kids play.
Yeah, so
have a great sandwich and football. So I don't know. They said they're gonna do every home game.
Yeah. That's what I've been told. So
That's awesome. And everybody said already the loaded fries are the best. They put pork on fries and cheese. It's really good. So if you have not gone to home game yet, you got to come out and have the loaded fries.
Yeah, I think our next home game is next.
You got all the way to the 13th. Right?
Yeah, 13th. So we're going to the Keys this weekend. That should be a good experience. And then we're on the road at Port Charlotte, which is a great game. Y'all should come out. It's at Port Charlotte. It will be a great environment. It is every year. And then, we'll be back at home on the 13th.
Yeah.
What's it like to have fans travel to Port Charlotte to watch a game?
I think it's, you have students coming to Port Charlotte, parents coming to Port Charlotte, and, just any basketball fan that, knows that it's a rival game and, it's a game of not high stakes, but high stakes.
Yep.
Kind of bragging rights. So you want to see, obviously, your team come out on the top end of it. Last year we lost to Port Charlotte at home, but then we went to Port Charlotte and won. So it's kind of like 1-1. So we'll see how this year goes.
So I'm just going to ask you, how do you feel about this year?
I think there's a lot of promise with our team. I think, it goes back to consistency. Like I said, we just got to continue to get better and show up every night. Don't take any game for granted because at the end of the day, it could be any night. So
I love that walk around to the answer. You're not feeding the beast, are you?
I mean, at the end of the day, our goal is
To win.
to hang up a district championship. So, we have a talented district, some great teams in our district, but we think we're one of the top teams in our district. So, it's a long season.
It's not getting any chalkboard material though,
Yeah.
right?
So, just continue to get better every day and just hope to be playing our best basketball.
No doubt.
All right, it's been a great home crowd so far. We had 2 home games so far. They've been really good.
Yeah.
I like to see there's always room for improvement. We got to come out.
Still a lot of bleachers left.
That's the thing. We got to build up. But I like the kill quarter. We got to figure out a saying or slogan or something like that, some kind of thing there. So
I think it's a chant.
I think it's going to kill
You
quarter.
get
Kill
a chant
quarter.
when you're
Oh, I
8
think-
points, kill quarter.
Oh, I like that. That's a
I
great
think that's a
idea.
motivation
I think
right
we-
there to finish out the
That's
season.
going on the microphone. That's going to happen.
We can have Mr.
It's
Patrick
time for
announce
a
it.
kill quarter. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
We could get that going.
So 13th we'll be back. So
All right.
hopefully, what we got?
You've got Charlotte, then you've got Port Charlotte, and I think that's all I have you down.
So hopefully we come back.
Oh, then
at home
Community
undefeated.
School of Naples on the 11th. So
We're at.
at
So hopefully we come back home undefeated. That'll be good to see. So
yeah.
just keep getting better. Big test tomorrow night. Looking forward to it, and then we'll go from there.
Well, the one thing we didn't ask, what's it cost to get into a game?
I forgot.
Oh my gosh, but it's not expensive.
No, it's not.
I think it's under
I
five.
think it's $5 for adults, 2 for students.
Football used to be 8, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Tony's
under-
going to kill us. We say
Definitely under $8 because that football game's, I think, the higher price one out of everything.
I don't know. I think they might be letting students in for free with their ID this year.
Ooh, watch out, coach.
I don't know.
Don't pull us
I
down.
Tony Miller, if you
Tony Miller, you better find out. Zach, thank you so much.
I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
It's been fun announcing you guys. That was Zach Babbitt. That is our assistant boys varsity coach. Again, our boys are off to a 4-0 start. We also have right now, if you go to our Facebook page, we have a place for you to vote for Eli Lovesey to be our offensive player, or excuse me, just player of the week. And that was before he had 39 points. This was back in the DeSoto day. So this thing's about 2 weeks behind.
Wow.
So they haven't even put him on for the next rotation of best players. So I know we're gonna have a short episode, but I did want to say something real quick, John. A lot of times I go in the community and they always talk about football and I keep saying, guys, winter sports is where you're really gonna see Northport teams just jump out. So I got some numbers for you. So we know the 4-0 boys basketball.
Yep.
Girls basketball started off a little rough. They've been climbing back up again. They're playing right now at the Cage. They're taking on Lakewood Ranch. They're 2-2. They're rebounding nicely.
Yep. 500's not bad.
Yeah, boys soccer 2-1-2. That's a tie in there, and girls soccer 2-0. So that's the 10 wins, 3 losses, or 4 losses combined so far on the 4 teams right now. So yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
it's a secret out there. I just don't think you realize how good our overall basketball soccer programs are. And I know our girls weightlifting team does good every year. I don't have the results. They don't really send because that's not really a team, from an individual kind of thing.
We'll have to get some numbers.
And we had some state champions these last couple of years coming out of our girls weightlifting. So it's a great time to come out if you've never been out for winter sports. The lights are dark. You come to the gym, stay nice and warm, or have some hot chocolate for soccer games. This is nice.
Or even some barbecue.
And you get the barbecue pork now. They have hamburgers and hot dogs. So we also have some cheer this Saturday. They're going on to Bartos called Chase the State. Wrestling is up and running. They're going to take on the Jim Graves IBT boys varsity meet at Brandon. I don't know how to say that IBT. I don't know if that means anything to you, John. I don't know. I don't know wrestling words very well.
That's definitely a change.
I think that's their
back in
that's their debut. They'll be debuting this Saturday up in Brandon for that. So Bartow for cheerleading, Brandon for wrestling, and we'll try to get Coach Hill on as soon as we can to talk about this. Norfolk's always had a successful wrestling. I don't think they've ever had a non-successful team ever. So
we've been very competitive across the board. Even back in the early days, with Coach Kimball.
And I've always recommended kids what kind of sport wrestling? You got to come to Norfolk for wrestling. I don't even think about other schools around here for wrestling.
Absolutely.
Come to Norfolk for wrestling. They've got their own wonderful practice room as well. A nice facility in there.
Yep.
You've seen
They have their own building. Yeah.
It's a nice building also.
Fantastic, actually.
So, guys, there's a lot to see coming up. Real quick on this one. Tomorrow night, we got girls and boys soccer. They're going to go to North Fort Myers. That's a rare varsity split. Boys basketball will go to Charlotte. Of course, we've already mentioned that tomorrow night. I don't think I can make it for that one. Thursday, girls soccer, JV will be back here taking on Imagine. Girls basketball Thursday will go to Braden River. Nothing on Friday. I just gave you the Saturday rundown. Again, 4 in a row. It's historic. Girls soccer, then boys soccer, girls basketball, boys basketball. That's a Key West. Amazing. We've never had anything close to 4 varsities.
And they got to be psyched about
back to back to back. I really would love to film it, but we have something even bigger here at Northport. We got to give a shout out to Poinsettia Parade. Come on, I know it's a Northport High School show, but we've got kids marching. We've got the D-Fly Club. They'll be marching. They'll have a float.
70 different floats.
SGA will have a float for the first time. I don't know if band will be there. I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to talk
I
to
did
them.
not ask that question.
Yeah,
They on the show.
So guys, go on the City of Northport's website. You'll see the route map. You'll be able to park over the Morgan Center. They'll
Shuttle you over.
Shuttles, they trolley,
Yep.
yeah, shuttle you back and
shuttle
forth.
you back and forth. And
You could try to get that parking lot across from the gallery. Good luck on that one.
yeah,
That
get there
fills up.
early. Truthfully, get there early. There's food truck vendors that are going to be on site. They've got a band tomorrow night.
Oh, they do?
Parade-
Okay.
Yeah, they got a parade route. They come straight down Sumter. It will be on the northbound side, heading out towards 75.
They block that lane, so.
They do.
Yeah.
They block those lanes out, but they still have north and southbound traffic
Yeah.
on the far lane coming in town. So do not don't park on the other side and try
Yeah,
to
I think
attempt.
they shut the
to
lane
come
down. I
across.
know it's
They do.
5-ish. They shut everything down.
They do, but they don't want anybody running across the street there because traffic will be intense in both directions. So just go ahead and monitor that the best you can. Get out there and enjoy it.
And I got one last thing. Johansson, come on up here. 2 seconds. Come on. Guys, I'm going to embarrass my co-host here. We've got our super fan this is our first time doing this. Come on up here. He is my wife's nephew. We'll call him Johansson. How you doing? I actually took him to the game last night. He saw the Northport High School game. He's expecting an 80-70 game. It's high school.
Yeah.
It's not his long game, but I'm bringing him up here, John, because he's watched us from which episode? How long ago?
I don't know.
One of the first ones, right?
Yeah, you guys were talking about track, I think.
All right. So, John, tell him where you're from. This is our distance record right now. Where are you from, young man?
I'm from the Dominican Republic.
That's right. He came all the way up here to watch this episode. So, no, I'm kidding. So, yeah, I'm going to start giving a shout out for coming up here. Big baseball fan, of course, from the island.
Yep.
But he is also a big basketball fan. People don't know there's a lot of basketball in the Caribbean down there. They love their basketball. And I want to say girls volleyball and track and field.
They're one of the best in the world.
So they got
He's not the best, I think.
So it's not just baseball. So real quick, because
Good combination.
we got a few minutes. What did you think about going over to high school? They call it the cage because it's a cat theme. So they have a cage for inside, they have a preserve for outside.
Mhm.
So what'd you think last night? You can be honest. Nothing negative though. Or you can't go back on again. I got you.
Yeah, you got me now. So the game was good, right? They play a lot in the corners, which is weird.
Is that different for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very different. We play a lot of zone,
Okay.
so 3-2.
Right.
We do box and one, which
Okay.
is something that, and it's because we watch a lot of NBA. So we normally see the defense that they play.
Mhm.
They play something called box and one, which is basically
Right. You get the fours.
yeah, you got the four,
Sure.
and you have to your best defender defending the best
Right.
from the other team.
Oh, look at you.
So we look at a lot of NBA, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
It was surprising to see high schoolers so tall. We
Right.
don't have that in
Right.
the island.
It'd be nice to have one or two of them. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be nice.
Well, Eli, I told Eli this. I saw him for the first time in a while. I said, he's got like 2 inches taller. He's like all the way up to here to me.
Right.
I'm like, what?
He's like 6'6".
He's like 7, 6, 8. Yeah, he's up there. I'm like, whoa. So yeah. So what'd you think about the referees and the talking and there's a lot. We had 3 technical fouls last night.
Wow.
So
Too many.
well, one coach, 2 players.
That's
Yeah, I
still
know.
too many.
So,
Yeah, still too many for AAU, right?
No, high school.
High
It's
school.
high school.
Yes.
Not AAU. Okay. So yeah, it's a little bit too much.
Could you do that down there on the island, or they kick you out, or what do they do?
Uh,
Are they more strict or less strict down there? on the referee?
they'll probably kick you out. Because
Wow.
things can get out of control very quick.
That's something people with fans now.
That's a great question because they're from your perspective,
Mhm.
I could tell the way you answered the question at the beginning. There is a difference between playing basketball from where you're from
Yep.
and playing basketball here.
Yep.
And would you consider it, I don't want to say more polite, but I want to say more on the professional side of things where they carry themselves a little more with respect and maybe some more discipline?
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I wouldn't call like that. So
It's-
what I
go ahead.
think is you guys here have a very organized basketball program.
Okay.
So for us, people people have the chance to play basketball and do a good job and be seen by people, maybe earn some money. But in all reality, our countries never focus on basketball. We actually are more baseball.
Yeah, of
You
course.
see everybody playing baseball.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
major leagues. They have big.
It's the feeder.
Yeah.
It's the feeder program for Major League
Teams.
Baseball.
Yeah.
So you see more people, focusing. You see, like, basketball is a hobby.
Right.
Baseball.
But
is a job.
you'll get every now and then a tall guy getting out of there playing. I see some Dominicans playing in college every now and then, like small
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, that's some tall
Yeah.
skinny guys.
But then the Caribbean blood sometimes doesn't let him get to the NBA. We had Francisco Garcia. He used to play in Sacramento. We had Luis Felipe Lopez. He used to play for Minnesota. We have Al Horford, which
Al Horford,
yeah,
right?
he
Well,
plays for Boston now.
yeah.
He played his
Sure.
best years were in Atlanta.
at UF, yeah, he's on
Mhm.
Florida Gators.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
he
I know
was
Al.
on
I
the
know Al.
Gators.
Yeah,
So
so.
go Gators.
I'm from UF, so our last good teams, unfortunately.
Drakeem Noah.
So,
Yeah.
so you're here for obviously for vacation. I finally got into the game. You're going to Dallas next. Are you going to catch any Dallas sports, or is it all work?
It will be all work.
Like a Mavericks
I wish I
game?
could see.
Like a Mavericks game?
Yeah,
or,
Luka.
okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
but
So.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, listen. Again, I'm sorry to ambush John like this. That'd be a
No,
great
it's
thing
all
to
good.
have. If you're from another country and you come to our show, we'll get you on the show to talk
Yeah,
about sports.
And really, the difference in the sports, that's why I want to go back what you were saying though, because when you get to play basketball from where you're at, it's a difference from here.
Yeah.
In the mindset.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So the difference is when you get a chance to play basketball, we only have certain teams, right? We have the Dominican League,
Right.
and there's like 6 teams. Dominicans unfortunately do not support as much of the basketball side of things.
Yeah.
Right now we have the winter tournament for baseball. You gotta see those stadiums. They get full. So it's not the same mindset as you will see with basketball. So when they have a chance to do what they love, which is play basketball, get some money out of it, they tend to be well behaved, right?
More humble?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Because they know everything can change in a minute. Like you can make the team,
Yeah.
and then one of the NBAs can come, like from the Dominican Republic, and you just can get caught like this. So they try to behave. They try to
Get that contract
to-
set,
yeah,
the family money. Yeah.
get some contracts because we do have players. Maybe not in the NBA as much, but we do have many players in Europe.
Yeah.
The Euro
And
League.
it's there's other levels.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody wants to make it to the NBA or to the major leagues, but they gotta get some money somewhere. So if they
Right.
receive a contract from Mexico
That
or
makes sense.
from Spain,
Yeah.
they'll take it.
That's
That
awesome.
makes great sense, and it's almost the way you're describing it. Not that we take it for granted here, but it's so readily available here.
Yeah.
And so when it's readily available, there's a different mindset, and I think a different way you would carry yourself.
Mhm.
Where if it was less, and let's say that Venice was the only school in the area that
Right.
even offered it. Well, look at all the kids that would be cut.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the same thing, because a lot of baseball players in your country, they're not going to pick up a basketball
No.
and risk that injury or
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else. And not only that, but lose the contract and lose their focus on what they're trying to do.
And you see, like when you get the money, like what's his name from San Diego with the dreads?
Sorry. He knows all the pro players. That's
Yeah.
amazing how much he knows.
I think I know you're
Tatis,
Yes, that's it.
right?
Okay.
He got paid, and then he went to the island. He was driving a motorcycle,
Oh,
and he broke his free cycle. Like that's the type of thing that you want to see with a basketball player from the island. They're well behaved. If you see the way that Al Horford has behaved,
no, he's been out of every negative, right? No,
Yeah.
yeah.
because they know
Yeah.
how it works.
Well, there has to be like an asset to the college level and the NBA level, and even overseas to the other leagues, is to know that you're coming in and possibly you don't have to look at the mentality of the player because of how they carry themselves all the way through their career. So that has a huge impact, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, there's a name that you guys will never hear of it. He's called Jack Michael Martinez. He has been the best player in the NBA, but he was never able to come to the NBA.
Did he play in Europe?
Yes,
Yeah.
he played everywhere.
Yeah.
But he wasn't able to come here. So apparently, you see what they do with the Major League Baseball, that when they have people from overseas, they cut their age by 2 years.
Oh,
or a
right,
year.
yeah.
So they did that with him, and he was not able to come to the Lakers training when he got the invitation because of that. So that's a name that you guys will never hear of it. He was like the best player ever to ever play.
Well, I'm glad you got to come to the game last night. I'm glad you got to see the difference. He did ask me early on what kind of style do we play. Is it FIFA rules versus? So all the fans out there, if you ever watch international basketball, they have like the trapezoid.
Yep.
And they have the different ball and the different lines and the
You
different
guys
quarters.
actually use another ball. That's an NCAA.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's another.
Yeah. So little things like that he'll pick up on, and timeouts. We have a new rule this year in high school. I don't know if this, John. So in years past, you get to the 6th foul, and the next one would be the 2 shots instead of 1-on-1.
Right.
So FHSAA is now every quarter you go to 5, it's 2 shots instead of 1-on-1, and then they wipe the numbers off. The second quarter's 0 again. You go to 5 again, and apparently it's supposed to speed the game up. I can't tell a difference. It drives me crazy trying to figure out, because my person next to me won't keep going 6, 7, 8, 9 on the foul count. It'll just say 5.
Right.
So the fans are looking at me like something's wrong. I'm like, oh, sorry guys, it's too hard. It's too hard to explain. It's too hard to explain on microphone. So yeah. So Johansson, thank you so much for coming out today.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Go back to dinner. All right. Thanks for representing Santo Domingo. All right. I want to say something to your family back home. Go ahead in Spanish. Go ahead.
Hola.
Oh, come on, I got to do more than that. Even,
Oh my gosh.
Even
I
can
thought
do
you were
that.
going to rattle off something,
I
man.
was going to get on that. So yeah, come on. Go ahead.
Hola, mami. ¿Cómo estás?
That's still my level.
Yeah.
That's still my level. All right. I promise that's all I'm going to ambush with you today,
There
John.
you
That's
go.
all I have. So, guys, don't forget Saturday. Go out to Poinciana Parade here in downtown Northport. Excuse me, City Hall, Northport.
City Hall.
So, and don't
On
forget,
the green.
we're going to see boys soccer, boys basketball again, not until the 13th. We'll go to Port Charlotte. That's going to be Tuesday the 5th. We all can see you all out there. I have a show that day. I'd like to film it somehow. We'll talk later on.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
We might.
That might be a good road thing for my Bobcat Bliss camera work.
Yeah. We'll work that one out.
right.
So
Guys, thanks for putting up with us today. We are here live in Northport, Beefville Brady's, your home, the official home of the Bobcat Blitz. I'm Sean Kirkpatrick.
John Rollins.
We will see you again when we can.
Oh yeah.
Take care. Good night. Thank you
Talk
all.
to you. Thank you.